Well, hello, friends, neighbors. Happy Father's Day. Well, that's tomorrow. And I thought, if you're anything like my family, love you, Dave, you are probably going to see this in your feed and go, oh, right, I got to get a gift for Dad. And he loves whiskey. So are any of these things a good idea? So what I'm going to show you is some of the things that have been given to me over the years and why I like them, or maybe why they gather dust on the shelf. There's 1,000 more whiskey gadgets than I have here, and that's because I tend not to be a gadget person. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what I appreciate about these gifts and why they might connect with your father or your dad. But I will do whiskey at the end. I got a few bottles here, and I'll talk about that. But honestly, search the channel. It's all I do is talk whiskey. So if you're looking for a good rye, a good bourbon, a good scotch, a good any of that stuff, just search the channel and you'll find it. This is a conversation about what ideas might happen, and I'm hoping it's a bit of a thought walk for you, because ultimately the person who knows your dad best is you, and that also will be an absolute theme throughout this video. So pour something. Looks like I'm not right now, but anyways, it's always better enjoy this video with a little bit of whiskey. See you on the other side. 3, 4. Well, thanks for coming back or staying with me. We are down here in the Nook. It's raining outside. It'd be really nice to review some whiskey. But then I thought, well, people are probably still thinking for good ideas for Dad or for Father's Day tomorrow. And there's enough time to run out and buy just about any of the stuff that I have out here. They're pretty common. So why not get into a few gift ideas for Dad? I'm going to start with what I think is the most basic. If you know your father enjoys whiskey, but he really hasn't paid any attention at all to his glassware, I'm going to talk about, two different styles of glasses. So one of them is the Glencairn. So I'll put these out here. Maybe the bottle cam can catch them. I don't know. But the point of a Glencairn glass is its tulip shape. This is where, someone actually, you notice, really enjoys like trying to get to know their whiskey. And a tulip shaped glass definitely helps you pull apart the nose. You can smell different layers. It really helps you understand the whiskey. It is a little more common in Scotch, but it helps any whiskey in terms of understanding its nose. You'll notice that I put both plain Glencairns and Glencairns with monograms on them, and I have bought for myself, and others have, like this, Okanagan Spirits, and it's really nice. And when you're pouring a little bit of Okanagan Spirits, you can enjoy it in a glass that is, monogrammed. Theirs. Personally, while that's fun to have around, and I have a couple of them, I really like plain. Why? I don't like branding my stuff. Now the second thing with glassware is, and this is also a branded one, it was a gift, is a rocks glass. And there's nothing wrong with a standard rocks glass or a couple of rocks glasses. And that's because another core tenet of enjoying whiskey. There is no wrong way to enjoy whiskey. You should enjoy it the way you want to. And if you're drinking whiskey in a bit of a wider, bigger glass, hopefully just pouring a little bit, good for you. And it swirls nice and it doesn't get stuck in your nose. Sometimes Glencairns, I'm like, why is it bugging my nose? Sure, I can nose it better. When it comes to just drinking whiskey, nothing beats a rocks glass. Same comment about the monogram. If your dad or father loves a certain whiskey and really appreciates, like he's got lots of sports memorabilia with teams he loves, he might like that kind of thing because he's designed to that. I don't have a lot of that stuff because I don't have a lot of monogram stuff. I don't have a lot of t-shirts or shirts or whatever because, I don't know, it's just not my thing. That's on you. But there's nothing wrong with either of these. If he has no tulips glasses, but it's really starting to get into whiskeys and understanding Scotch and whatnot, get him a couple of Glencairns and get him 2 so you can enjoy it with them. If he has rocks glasses, always an easy upgrade. That kind of relates to, because it's easy to show, this next thing, which is if you're making old fashions, these sure are popular. These are, and I don't know, I'll do it on the camera. These are those wooden coasters with metal on them, and then you put wood chips in there. It's like here I've got some cherry wood chips. Oh, that smells nice. And you just put it inside, and then you use a torch. I should have put my torch out here, but you get the idea. And that's really nice for toasted or smoked old fashions. It'll fill the glass with smoke. It's super easy. I mean, yes, a torch And whiskey, you do need to be careful. You could certainly burn your house down quite easily. So maybe early on the night is when you do some smoked old fashions and you stay away from fire if you're continuing your night. Anyways, I'm going to talk about, and I can only find one of these, and I don't think there's any way we're going to get that on camera. But like this is Whiskey Stone, and boy, when they came out, they made us splash. They were attached to bottles. They were at tastings. I had little pouches of them everywhere. And the reason why I could only find one is I found them in my wife's craft closet because I gave them to her quite a while ago. The idea of a Whiskey Stone is that it cools down your whiskey without watering it. And if you like it that way, good on you. I've already said there's no wrong way. But if you're like, I just want you to know that this doesn't have the same specific heat capacity of frozen water, just so you know. So it does a poorer job cooling something down than ice. And water in whiskey actually does something to the whiskey. There's some hydrophilic molecules that pull apart when you splash some water in there, and it will change your experience, and you'll be able to understand the whiskey differently with water. So if you really are someone who just likes ice, and then someone says, why are you watering your whiskey? You can get the same effect with this Whiskey Stones. I'm here to tell you you can't. When you just cool down whiskey, you contract the nose without the water. You don't break up any molecules. This also will warm up at twice the rate of a block of ice. It's just an inferior idea that was clearly a marketing thing. If you like it, good on you. Do I? No, and I've given them all to my wife, who's happily scratching them and doing crafts because some of them are soapstone, and so that's a fun thing to do with kids. Something that was a craze a while ago. Oh, and I should have gone stayed with barware. You know, this is just a jigger. It's not that fancy actually. But if you don't have anything for making cocktails, I think that's a really good idea. Like, look to see if he's got a nice stir spoon, a good shaker, a nice jigger. There's nothing wrong with upgrading barware. And like I said, this looks nice, but really was a few dollars and was easy to go. In fact, along that theme, I'm gonna actually say, like, this was given to me from Reese. I don't know if it'll come on the camera, but having a little bit of, how to make a cocktail, or what is a cocktail, or information for Dad to understand whiskey or cocktails more are a great idea. That's just I love little information cards. I've got a bunch of them. And speaking of information cards, this is Davin Kergamo's last edition, not as current. But I'll tell you, Davin Kergamo quite literally wrote the book on Canadian whiskey. And if your dad is a reader and likes whiskey, there's nothing wrong with some whiskey books. There's so many of them out there. There's ones that are a little more pictorial. They're often a little bit bigger. I've got a bunch of them exactly where I'm about to say, on the coffee table or under the coffee table. You can, leaf through, and that's even why Whiskey Magazine is still an excellent magazine. I love the pictures and I love the articles. There are other reading materials, but nothing wrong like that for Dad. Okay, moving on to glassware and some information on how to use that glassware. I'm going to talk about these small barrels where you can do your own custom aging. And I have to say, they came out years ago and were all the rage. And they really vary. If you get a barrel like this one here, likely from somewhere like a Staples or an Indigo or a big box store, you're not going to get good results. So this was lovingly given to me by my family, and it looks nice, and it has a nice decoration on a counter somewhere upstairs. But everything I've tried to age in here just comes out oaky. And the reason is I'm not convinced this has been charred well on the inside. I don't even know what kind of oak this particular barrel is. It's a nice idea. It is and came certified food grade, so I knew I wasn't going to kill myself aging and drinking stuff in here. But I was never able to really improve my whiskey. There's tons of videos online where people do. But I think if your dad is that kind of person, he probably has his own casks already. And if not, you need to do more research. Don't just go down to the local big box store and see a decorative whiskey barrel and think this is going to work. And that relates. I don't have it up here because I've told my family. Getting those mason jars and putting staves in them is a fun experiment. It also is not going to significantly improve your whiskey in terms of aging. It will change the flavor. Absolutely. When I make a cocktail with ingredients, it changes the flavor. you put wood staves in that whiskey and let it sit for a while, you bet it's going to change. I just struggle to think it's really going to improve it. Whiskey, oh, this was a great gift, a truly great gift, but it would only be great if your dad is a traveler or you guys move around a lot. So this is a travel to go, multiple flask. Oh, I've got my stickers on there still to help me understand. I think the last round, you should try to guess them. I mean, one of them you can probably see is Irish or whatever, but this flask set is fantastic. And I have been fortunate to be able, like say we're going on a long weekend somewhere. This was back when the family would go for Dave's volleyball tournaments or my daughter's Irish dancing or whatnot. And it was fun, like, hey, I'm going to be here for 4 or 5 days. And it'd be fun to bring a couple of different scotches or whiskeys. It packs up well, it seals well, it goes in the it easily travels with me, and I truly love it. Now, having said that, I don't think I've used this in a few years because we really haven't done that kind of traveling. So that's another, you're gonna have to know, what is your dad like? Is this something like he's gonna use or he's never gonna use, and that's okay. Whisky Associated gifts are fun too. This, actually a friend of the channel gave it to me, and I'm sorry I haven't opened it yet, but it does combine two of my favorite things. I love coffee, I like grinding my own and making my own coffee, and I love whiskey, and so I'm expecting to really enjoy this. And even if it doesn't hit the mark, we'll see how it is when I get there. I appreciate that it clearly came from someone who knows me and connects two of my passions, and isn't that wonderful for all gifts? So we've talked just some of the basics, materials, making old fashions, glassware, probably hit or miss, some unique stuff. I'll briefly talk whiskey, but I mean briefly. So first of all, I would say if your dad, this is really specific to what you know about your dad. If your dad only drinks J.P. Wiser, well, it's tough to get him something like, don't buy him a $500 scotch, because why? You've never seen him enjoy a scotch. You've only seen him enjoy J.P. Wiser. Now, if you want to get him something special, he's getting a little older like me, and you're wondering about how long he's going to be around, get him something like this. The Red Water is out now. Red Letter. This is the 15-year-old. I hope to get the 20-year-old. But I think if your dad is a J.P. Wiser appreciator, then something like that would be just the right thing. Similarly, and I don't have a current release, if your dad only drinks Crown, don't get him a bottle of Crown. Well, that speaks to something. If you don't want to push anything on whiskey on him, remember experiences. If you just sit down with your dad and drink some Crown, that's probably the best gift you could ever do. But I'm using this example here, it's getting a bit low, that Crown does annually put out special releases. And that is where I would want to kind of push dad a little bit. Like, okay, you only drink the regular Crown, but I'd like for you to try this slightly different release or special release. Why? Well, because I said, your dad's getting older. It's nice to spoil him every now and then. Then I would also say, like, if you're looking to push dad's palate and you're in Canada, consider any of the really excellent craft, honestly craft whiskeys that are out there. And I chose Alberta Bridgeland and Saskatchewan's Black Fox. They're phenomenal. If I was going over to BC right now, I really appreciated the conversation that I had with Tyler from Okanagan Spirits, but now I would end up just putting out all my collection because craft spirits have been a big part of the journey that I'm on right now. And as I said, just search my channels and you'll find all kinds of whiskey recommendations. If your dad's a Scotch drinker, and kind of the Scotch that he likes, again, buying him a bottle of something he always buys himself, maybe not. Again, if that's what you want to do, have a night with him drinking Scotch. He'll love that more. But I was just thinking things like, I love Ardbeg, I love Ardbeg 10, but maybe dad hasn't had, Ugadale, where you're going to get like way more strength, but also more sherry in here, or Corveckian, you're going to get just a different experience. So something like a Corey or an Oogie if your dad likes peated Scotch. If your dad likes, I had this. I was just trying to show like how to bump up the idea. Like if you like Glenallachie, 12-year-old, then going for something like Glenallachie cask strength, although those are quite different casking. So now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm feeling like that's a bad recommendation. But I think you get the idea. Find a house that you hear Dad talking a lot about. If he talks a lot about Glenmorangie and he drinks mostly the 10 or the, those 12, 14-year-old releases, well, look at getting one of those tails. Get a Tale of Tokyo is still out, I think. And that way it's in a house that he knows and he'll connect with if he's sort of a favorite person. There's nothing wrong with a tasting pack. I've said this before with gifts. A friend of mine got me this. I haven't yet opened it. When I do, I will walk through every one of them with you guys because I really like giving comparison thoughts. But these kind of sample packs often go on sale. And, maybe Dad's had a couple of them, but not all of them. And it really helps just really push him out of his comfort zone maybe, or maybe he realizes, oh, I like something else. So I think you are getting the theme that I'm saying with whiskey purchases themselves. They are the most risky up here. Even the glasses and stuff are pretty basic. You get someone a couple of Glencairns, a couple of rock glasses, some nice barware. Like, they're going to be able to use that, and there's not going to be something. You buy them, an Ugadale, and he normally likes Ardbeg, but this is a different beast, and it might be not a great experience for him. So if your dad's really not adventurous, I would say go for the experiences of whiskey together, but not the actual whiskey. Maybe. Just the way I would call it. Anyways, I could keep going. I've got bottles all around me, and I would go by why buy this one, why buy that one, but I've already said, and this video was way, way, way too long, just search my channel. I got all kinds of stuff to say. If you're looking for a rye, search rye. If you're looking for a scotch that's peated, do that. You're bound to find at least 3 or 4 good recommendations in the last few years. Thanks for joining me here. I hope that you have a fantastic Father's Day and you're able to do so with your father. If you're like me and my father's passed away, I will, at some point during the day, my mom's still with me, so I'll give Mom a call and remember Dad a little bit together with her. But I will also spend a little bit of time actually alone. My kids will be with me, that'll be good, but there will be some moment in the day. And if I still had some of that Glendronach cask strength that I opened on his passing, I would sip that. That bottle has now finally gone away. But it's awesome to remember the fathers, the dads that we had, even if they were tougher. It's good to spend a moment and think about it and just have a great day. Thanks for joining me. You guys take care.